कुलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामनि गौरतुषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण. So we'll continue from the next verse where we left yesterday. So sixth verse we have to start. So I think till fifth verse we did revision, correct, na? Yeah. So next section we are going to start is transmigration. This is from verse 6 to 11. So sixth verse is Krishna going to speak about the spiritual world. That is what is attained by the devotees. And another explanation of this, as I told yesterday, is also this means that those who are yogis, Ashtanga yogis and Gyanis, they will attain the Brahman. Okay, that is another meaning of this. Okay, so we'll continue. तद्भाष्यते सूर्यो न शशाङ्को न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम. Yeah, Nimai bro, would you like to read?
That supreme abode, Tad Dhamma Paramam, of mine, Mama, is not illumined, na bhasyate, by the sun, Surya, or moon, na Shashankaha, nor by fire or electricity, na Pavakaha. Those who reach it, Yad Gatva, never return, na Nivartante, to this material world.
Yeah, thank you. So now Krishna is speaking about the attainment that a devotee has in the spiritual world and what is the nature of the spiritual world. Okay, so he has described the nature of the spiritual world. Okay, or the spiritual abode. Okay, so the Dhamma, that abode. Okay, so Dham has different meanings that we will see in the commentary of Vishwanath Chakra Thakur or Baldev Vidyabhushan. One of them they will explain. It has three, four meanings. So here Prabhupada has taken it as supreme abode. Okay, so that what is its nature? So natad bhasyate. Bhasyate means to be illuminated. It is not illuminated by what? First is mentioned is Suryo. That is the sun. Na Sashanko. That is at the night. The moon brightens or moon illumines the sky and the earth. That is also not needed there. Na pavakaha. Third is mentioned as fire, and Prabhupada interestingly translates also it as electricity because that is nothing but transformation of the sun in the form of fire, and then fire is transformed also like electricity, or like we have coal energy. So the sun's energy is stored for many decade and then converted into coal, and then coal is burnt and then fire is generated. Correct. Yes, and then there is electricity. So Prabhupada has translated it as electricity also. And another nature of this spiritual world is that yadgatva na nivartante. So when one reaches there, he never returns to this material world. Okay. Yeah, please read.
The spiritual world, the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, which is known as Krishna Loka, Golok Vrindavan, is described here. In the spiritual sky, there is no need of sunshine, moonshine, fire, or electricity, because all the planets are self-luminous. We have only one planet in this universe, the sun, which is self-luminous, but all the planets in the spiritual sky are self-luminous. The shining effulgence of all those planets, called Vaikunthas, constitutes the shining sky known as the Brahma Jyoti.
Yeah. So Prabhupada is explaining the word bhasyate. Okay. Natad bhasyate. That there is no need of illumination from this which are illumining the material world. So he has used this word, no need. It's not that they are said as in the sense of being absent. Okay. There is no need. Okay. Like that. Of sunshine, moonshine, fire of electricity, etc. Whatever is mentioned in the verse. Okay. So there is only one planet sun, but according to modern scientific theories, there may be multiple suns and all stars are considered as suns. But that is not the Vedic theory. So Vedic theory in the sense of astrology and astronomy is very different. The cosmology itself is very different for the Vedic cosmos. So fifth canto describes it. So we say that okay, different details are there. I won't go in detail, but it's very different. So as Vedic scriptures, they say that there is only one sun, okay, which is illuminating the whole universe. Okay, the whole universe. Okay, that is what is explained. And that sun is self-luminous. But all the planets in the spiritual sky are self-luminous. So what are the planets that are there in the spiritual sky? So we have seen, or we must have heard, that there are so many Vaikuntha planets. Correct. So if you see in the first canto, the cover page, you can see there are various Vaikuntha planets drawn around the Golok Vrindavan planet. Correct. So that they are all self-luminous. And then there is Lord Ram's Saket Dham, that is self-luminous. Then there is Dwarka. Then above that is Mathura. Above that is the Golok Vrindavan. So everything is self-luminous. Okay. So there is no need of the sun over there. Yeah. And the shining effulgence of all those planets called Vaikunthas constitute of the shining sky known as the Brahma Jyoti. Yeah. Continue.
Actually, the effulgence is emanating from the planet of Krishna, Golok Vrindavan. Part of that shining effulgence is covered by the Mahat Tattva, the material world. Other than this, the major portion of that shining sky is full of spiritual planets, which are called Vaikunthas, chief of which is Golok Vrindavan. As long as living entity is in this dark material world, he is in conditional life. But as soon as he reaches the spiritual sky, by cutting through the false, perverted tree of this material world, he becomes liberated.
Yeah. So the same thing Prabhupada is continuing, that basically the whole effulgence is originating from Golok Vrindavan. And that only is going to the other parts of the Vaikuntha Loka and as well as in the material world. So if you have noticed, Prabhupada calls this material world as Ek Pad Vibhuti, like one fourth. So like that, three path Vibhuti is the spiritual world. So Vibhuti generally means something which is extraordinary, that which is something noticeable, like that Vibhuti. Okay. And some special power is endued into it. That is called Vibhuti. So here, that kind of thing is being explained, that the origin of all these Vibhuti is in the spiritual world, in the especially Golok Vrindavan. And from there, the metal world also gets the part of it. Okay. Yeah. Continue.
Then there is no chance of his coming back here. In his conditional life, the living entity considers himself to be the lord of this material world. But in his liberated state, he enters into the spiritual kingdom and becomes an associate of the Supreme Lord. There he enjoys eternal bliss, eternal life, and full knowledge, one should be captivated by this information. He should desire to transfer himself to that eternal world and extricate himself from this false reflection of reality. For one who is too much attached to this material world, it is very difficult to cut that attachment. But if it takes to Krishna consciousness, there is a chance of gradually becoming detached.
Yeah. So yeah, same theme Prabhupada is saying from the previous line of the slide. So the person who reaches there, the spiritual world, by cutting this false perverted tree of material world, so that what is being explained till now in the fifth verse, till the fifth verse, that if he is able to cut, and what is that? The root is the attachment. Okay, that Prabhupada is saying in the next line. Okay, so if one is able to overcome this attachment, and how will one overcome this attachment? If he takes to Krishna consciousness, then gradually the anartha nivritti will happen. Okay, and then kama, krodha, lobha, moha, matsar, these all things will gradually diminish. Okay. And very important line here is that one should be captivated by this information. What is that information? That after reaching to the spiritual world, one becomes an associate of the Lord and he never has to come back to this material world, which is of suffering, full of suffering, dukkhalaya. Correct. So that here he is saying that he enjoys eternal bliss there, eternal life, and full of knowledge. Basically, Satchid and Ananda. He enjoys that kind of life here. So one should be captivated by this information. And by being captivated, what is the result? Then one should desire, he should desire. So if you remember yesterday, we discussed that the reflection of the tree is actually based on the water, which is compared to desire. So this desire is the root, not the root in the sense it is the uh, reflecting surface. So here, if the desire is changed, then the process of being transferred to spiritual world begins. Okay, that we discussed yesterday. How when one gets faith in the path of bhakti, then his desires start changing. Okay, so that is what Prabhupada is saying. That what is the meaning of being captivated? That one will be changing his desires, and then the slowly the cutting of attachment of the material world will start. Yeah, continue.
One has to associate himself with devotees, those who are in Krishna consciousness. One should search out a society dedicated to Krishna consciousness and learn how to discharge devotional service. In this way, he can cut off his attachment to the material world. One cannot become detached from the attraction of the material world simply by dressing himself in a saffron cloth. He must become attached to the devotional service of the Lord. Therefore, one should take it very seriously that devotional service, as described in the 12th chapter, is the only way to get out of this false representation of the real tree.
Yeah, so as we discussed yesterday, also this point that Saiva sadhu sukrito mokshadvaram apavritam. Okay, so when one associates with the sadhu or the devotee of the Lord, mokshadvaram apavritam. So he will uh, get started on the path of liberation or going back to spiritual world. Okay, so that association actually will change one's desires. And then gradually, what Prabhupada is saying here, one will cut off his attachment to the material world. So Prabhupada is not saying to make this attachment zero. He is saying here that one has to change this attachment from material to spiritual. Okay. So one cannot become detached from the attraction of the material world simply by dressing himself in saffron cloth. So yeah, yesterday also we were discussing it's not that those who are in saffron cloth, they are more advanced or they are pure devotees, or those who are in the white cloth or in Grihastha ashram, they are not good devotees, they are very attached. There is nothing like that. So Prabhupada is saying actually it is nothing dependent on external things. Okay, external situation, external environment. Okay, but inner, what is the temperament, what is the inner desire, that what is decides the sincerity of the person. Yeah. Yeah, he must become then attached to the devotional service. So one has to cut off the attachment to the material world. Then what it will be transformed into? It will be transformed into the attachment to the devotional service. And how will that happen? Saeva sadhu sukrito. Mokshadwaram apavritam. By the association of devotees, like Prahlad Maharaj also prays in his prayers, that how when one is taking association of a person who is attached to Lord, that person also becomes attached to Lord. Correct. So, in the same way, one has to transfer his attachment, transfer his emotions. So, emotions will always be there. So, but one has to transfer it to spiritual objects. Okay, emotions cannot be made zero, desires cannot be made zero, but one has to transfer it to the spiritual entity. That is the only science of Krishna consciousness. That much only. And it's very easy, that's why. Otherwise, other yoga practices like Ashtanga Yoga, Gyan Yoga, not much of Karma Yoga, but these two, basically they focus more on cutting off the desires or attachment completely, like that. Yeah. Yeah, continue.
In chapter 14, the contamination of all kinds of processes by material nature is described. Only devotional service is described as purely transcendental. The words Paramam Mama are very important here. Actually, every nook and corner is the property of the Supreme Lord, but the spiritual world is Paramam, full of six opulences. The Kathopanishad, second canto, second chapter, 15th verse, also confirms that in the spiritual world there is no need of sunshine, moonshine, or stars. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. For the whole spiritual sky, it is illuminated by the internal potency of the Supreme Lord. That supreme abode can be achieved only by surrender and by no other means.
Yeah. So here again, Prabhupada is continuing this same point that, yeah. So 14th chapter, yes, he is quoting 14th chapter. The contamination of all kinds of process of metal nature is described. So what was the contamination described there? There are three kinds of contamination described. Sattva contamination, Rajoguna contamination, and Tamoguna contamination. All three are contamination. Why? Because they are binding us to the material world. So Sattva will bind us to the Brahma Loka. Rajoguna will bind us to the earthly planet, and Tamoguna will bind us to the lower planets. So all are binding only. So these three kinds of contamination was described there. Only devotional service is described as purely transcendental. Yeah. And that is a way to liberation. And that's why even those who are practitioners of Gyan Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, they have to give up their sattvic practices of Ashtanga Yoga and Gyan Yoga and ultimately continue only with Bhakti Yoga to attain Brahman. Okay. And here Prabhupada is very nicely focusing Paramam Mama. Okay, so as this is one of the aspects of explaining any verse or spiritual study, if you remember, the fourth aspect was Vigraha, that is explaining the difficult terms. So Prabhupada is taking this term and explaining here that this is very important. Actually, every nook and corner is the property of the Supreme Lord, but the spiritual world is Paramam. So even in the material world, who is ruling? Is Krishna only ruling, sometimes through Maya, sometimes directly. But the direct meaning of this paramam word here is the spiritual world, okay, which is the highest abode of Krishna's consciousness. Basically, the highest Krishna consciousness is in spiritual world, okay, which is also full of six opulences, okay. And then Prabhupada quotes a reference for what he's saying, okay. He is not saying on his own. He quotes a reference from the Shrutis, from the Upanishad, that in the spiritual world there is no need of sunshine, moonshine, stars. Na tatra suryo bhati, na chandra tarakam. So very nice quote Prabhupada is doing here. Yeah, yeah. And for the whole spiritual sky is illuminated by the internal potency, antaranga shakti. Yeah, and same point as Prabhupada told yesterday that devotional service begins with surrender. Okay, and supreme abode ultimately is achieved also by surrender. Okay, obviously it is increasing. Yeah. Mhm. This is okay. We'll read this commentary, very important verse. So we will read commentary of Vishwanath Chakra Thakur and also Baldev Vidyabhushan. Yes, Prabhu, please continue.
What are the qualities of that object which is attained? The words sun, moon, and fire do not light it, means that it is self revealing, self dependent, self sufficient, and devoid of miseries such as heat and cold caused by the sun, moon, and fire. Tadhama paramam mama means that light, dharma, which is non-material beyond the material senses, paramama, which illuminates or reveals everything else and which belongs to me, mama. Note, dharma can mean light, place, and form. The Harivamsha says, Tat param paramam brahma sarvam vibhajate jagat mamaiva एक मिनट ममैव तद गणम तेजो ज्ञातुम arhasi bharata. That supreme Brahman lights up this whole universe. You should know that this intense light belongs to me, O Bharata. Harivamsha, second canto, 114 chapter and 12 verse.
Yeah, thank you. So Vishwanath Thakur is giving another reference, obviously. Prabhupada gave from Katha Upanishad. He is giving from the Harivamsha Puran. Okay. And before that, he is saying what is the context of this verse. So the context is what are the qualities of that object which is attained. Okay, so it was told earlier that you cut down this tree of attachment, then you will reach to a spiritual world. But what is that spiritual world? Before you go to any place, you should know about that place, right? Okay, so just like one wants to go to USA, so one is first captivated by the knowledge or information and the pictures and videos of that place. So these all are described actually about the spiritual world in various scriptures like Shrimad Bhagavatam. That what is that spiritual world looks like, what are its qualities. So Krishna is giving a glimpse here. What are the qualities of that spiritual world? And what is that which you are going to attain? Okay, so before you purchase the ticket of any place, surely there is some idea about where the person is going to go. Okay, nobody purchases a ticket of a place which he does not know at all. Okay, so that is not possible. So Krishna is first telling us about the place so that we can have a desire to purchase the ticket. Okay, just like there is this Disneyland or other places which children like so much. So first they see the video or they see hear from the other friends that how it was very nice. So like that desire comes. Then they want to purchase a ticket like that. So similarly, Krishna is explaining here what is that spiritual world, what are its qualities, and more elaboration obviously in Bhagavatam. So yeah, Vishwanath Thakur continues that the words that is sun, moon, fire do not light it. This means what? It means that it is self-revealing, self-dependent, self-sufficient, devoid of miseries such as heat and cold caused by sun and moon. So this is very unique meaning. So just like Krishna is not dependent on any other demigod or god for his Bhagavatta or his godness. Okay, Krishna is not God on the strength of somebody else. Okay, he is God because he is God, like that. So he is not basically caused by somebody else's power. It is self-revealing, self-sufficient. Yeah. Self-revealing means what? The path of bhakti does not need any support of other paths like karma, jnana, etc. Okay. It is self-sufficient, self-revealing. Okay. Just like the path of jnana we discussed earlier, it needs an element of bhakti to perfection, for getting perfection. Karma yoga, that also needs the support of bhakti. Okay. So, but the bhakti does not need support of other paths. Okay. And it is self-dependent in the same sense. It is devoid of miseries. The what? The spiritual world is devoid of the miseries. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Tad Dhama. So here, that he is saying Paramamat means that light, Dhama. The meaning of the word Dhama here is taken to be light because it has three meanings. From the standard dictionaries, we can see that it is light, then there is place, and there is form. So these three meanings are there for this word dham. Just like the word atma can have meaning mind also. It can mean one self also. And it can also mean the soul. Okay, so various meanings are there. But here, the meaning of dham, which is Prabhupada has taken, is the place. And then also, which is the other meaning is taken here is light. Okay, that Vishwanath Chakravarti has taken light, which is non-material. Okay. Beyond the material senses, Paramam, which illuminates or reveals everything else, which belongs to me, Mama. Okay, so yeah. So here he is quoting another shloka, which actually Srila Prabhupada also quoted. Mm. Mm, Katha Upanishad. If you remember, Prabhupada quoted this same verse. So Vishwanath Jalakur has quoted. So Prabhupada also quoted this. Yeah. So please read this.
The Lord
Baldev
in
Vidya
this
Bhushan.
The Lord in describing the pada indicates himself. Having attained it, the surrendered persons do not return. The pada is my swarupa, my form dhamma, which is full of all excellences paramama. Though the sun and moon and light illuminate everything, they do not illuminate that form. The Shrutis say, Na tatra suryo, there exists no sun there. Katha Upanishad, 5th chapter, 15th verse. That form cannot be lit by the sun, but rather that form which the sun cannot reveal illuminates the sun and all other luminaries. I, the husband of Lakshmi, the form of knowledge which reveals itself, am to be known as the Padam. I am attained by those who surrender.
Yeah, so now you can see what Prabhupada was making point was actually from Baldev Vidya Bhushan only. If you see the point of surrender, Prabhupada also told this same point actually. So I am attained by those who surrender. So that's why Prabhupada has dedicated his Bhagavad Gita to Baldev Vidya Bhushan actually. So many of the things, 80% of the things Prabhupada has taken from here. So yeah, from beginning. So what he is saying, Baldev Vidya Bhushan, that Lord is describing the pada, indicating himself. Okay, his abode, himself, basically his form. Dham means form. So that meaning, as Vishwanath Chakra Thakur took the meaning of dham as light, and Prabhupada took that meaning of dham as place, and Baldev Vidya Bhushan is taking the meaning as form. Okay, my swarupa, my form. Okay, all are self-effulgent, all are self-dependent, or all are independent of others. So these applies to all the three. Okay, so these all three are full of excellence actually, paramam. Okay, though the sun and moon and light illuminate everything, they do not illuminate that form. Which form? That Lord's form as my Swarupa. Okay, that's not needed for Lord's form to be illumined. Satchidananda Vigraha. Sarvakaranasya Karanam. Anadi Adir Govinda Sarvakaranasya Karanam. He is the source of all the light in this metal world. Yeah. That form cannot be lit by sun, but rather that form which the sun cannot reveal illuminates the sun and all other luminaries. So Krishna says, sun and moon are my eyes, even in the metal world. So these are obviously the meditation of the yogis who are meditating on the Virat Purush. But in essence, to say all the energy in the metal world is actually Krishna's vibhuti. यदि यदि विभूति मत्सत्वम श्रीमद ऊर्जितम एव वा तत्तद एवावगच्छत्वम मम तेज अंश संभवः. So he says that everything you see as vibhuti, that which is extraordinary in this world, that is mama teja amsa sambhavah. That is possible to have that extraordinariness only because it's my part of the my teja or my excellence, like that. Hmm. That's why these things, sun and moon, have the extraordinariness. Yeah. Any question what we discussed till now? So if not, then we will continue. Next verse of this section, seventh verse. Yeah. So now Krishna actually explained till now that how the person can overcome this attachment of this material world by surrendering to Krishna, and then he attains that spiritual world. What is the nature of this material world? Okay. But now this section is going to explain that, okay, that this jiva, why should he surrender to me? So he is my part and parcel. He is my basically uh, amsha. Okay, so we will read this. Mamayavamsho jiva loke jiva bhutah sanatanah manasasthani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. Okay, somebody else can read. Ashutosh, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. The living entities, Jiva Bhuta, in this conditioned world, Jiva Loke, are Mai, Mama Eva, eternal, Sanatana, fragmental parts, Amsa. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard, Karsati, with the six senses, Sastani Indriyani, which include the mind, Mana, and are situated in material nature, Prakriti Sthan.
Yeah. So here Krishna is explaining that Jiva is actually suffering and struggling. Karshati. That word he has used, Karshati. Struggling very hard. Mm. So we'll see Prabhupada how he explains this in the purport. So the suffering of the Jiva is explained in this verse, even though he is part of the Supreme Lord. Yeah. Please read.
In this verse, the identity of the living being is clearly given. The living entity is the fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord eternally. It is not that he assumes individuality in his conditional life and in his liberated state becomes one with the Supreme Lord. He is eternally fragmented. It is clearly said, Sanatana. According to the Vedic version, the Supreme Lord manifests and expands himself in innumerable expansions, of which the primary expansions are called Vishnu Tattva, and the secondary expansions are called the living entities.
Yeah. So Prabhupada actually always take this opportunity to, if anything which can be proved against Mayavad or this philosophy of impersonalism, then he always takes that opportunity. Similarly, here he is taking this opportunity that people say, those who are Mayavadi, they say, oh, now we are individual. But after we attain the Brahman, then we will become merged into the Brahman. And like that, we lose our individuality. So, no, Krishna, so Prabhupada is saying here that Mama Eva Amshaha, okay, fragmental part and parcel, part and parcel. Okay, so part and parcel generally means Bhinna Amsha. So, there is two types of uh, Amsha. One is Swa Amsha and there is Bhinna Amsha. Swamsa are those who are incarnations of Krishna, Vishnu Tattva. Like we have the Varahadev, Nrsimhadev. These are all which are part and parcel in the sense that they are Swamsa, Vishnu Tattvas. But there is Bhinna Amsha. So Bhinna Amsha means that which is different in quantity and also little bit in quality. Okay, so Krishna has 64 qualities. Jiva does not have all 64. He has only 50 qualities maximum. So quality wise also he is not very same. He is similar. And quantity wise surely he is Anu and Krishna is Vibhu. So living entity is fragmental. Okay. Amsha. Yeah, and that individuality is never lost. Why? Because that which is not created will not also be destroyed. So living entity was never created. So individuality was also never created. So in living entity will never destroy also, and his individuality also will never be destroyed. That which is created will sometime will have to be destroyed. Okay, like that. It is clearly said Sanatanaha. Okay, that's why some devotees who are of the Varnashrama mentality, they take this word Sanatan Dharma. So Sanatan Dharma, yeah, is never created. This will never be destroyed. But all other dharmas, which are created 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, they will be destroyed sometime. So that is different take for those who are in that mood. Yeah, continue.
In other words, the Vishnu Tattva is the personal expansion and the living entities are the separated expansions. By his personal expansion, he is manifested in various forms like Lord Rama, Nrsimhadeva, Vishnumurti, and all the predominating deities in the Vaikuntha planets. The separated expansions, the living entities, are eternally servitors. The personal expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the individual identities of the Godhead, are always present. Similarly, the separated expansions of the living entities have their identities.
Yeah, this I already explained. The separated expansions means Bhinnamsha. Okay, Bhinnamsha. And then this also I explained. Personal expansion means Swamsha. Okay. His own Vishnu Tattva expansions, like that. Yeah. The personal expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the individual identities of the Godhead are always present. Okay. The Swams, like all these incarnations, Narsimdeva, Varadev, etc., are always present. There is no time at which they will disappear. Disappears in the sense that they will be destroyed. Okay. Similarly, the separated expansions also similarly, they have the similar quality. They are also eternal, Shashwata. Yeah, continue.
As fragmental parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, the living entities also have fragmental portions of His qualities, of which independence is one. Every living entity, as an individual soul, has his personal individuality and a minute form of independence. By misuse of that independence, one becomes a conditioned soul, and by proper use of independence, he is always liberated. In either case, he is qualitatively eternal as the Supreme Lord is.
Yeah. So same thing. Free will is given to every jiva. Okay. And everybody has their own independence to make choices. Okay. So that independence is always there, and that can be used or it can be misused. When it is misused, then one continues in the material world. Okay. And then one uses it properly, then one is transferred to a spiritual world. Okay. So why this is told in this purport now? Why Prabhupada is saying this point? Use and misuse of free will.
Because he
So,
is struggling because of his misuse.
no. What is the part of the shloka he is trying to explain here?
The part of shloka, no?
Yeah. Which part of the shloka is connected to this explanation? That's what we have to always connect like that.
Yeah, prakriti sthani karshati. He is
Yeah,
struggling.
manasasthani indriyani. Yeah, prakriti sthani karshati. Yeah. So this living entity is suffering in this material world. So that suffering is not because of Supreme Lord, or that suffering is not because of the any other reason than misuse of the free will, basically. He is only desiring to continue in this material world, and that's why Krishna is facilitating. So he is a desiring doer. He is desiring that I want to continue in this material world. So Krishna is facilitating. Okay, you continue. And we will see now the next section, basically, verses 12 to 15, these four verses. Krishna will explain that how actually he is facilitating in the material world through various agencies like sun, moon, and as the fire of digestion, how Krishna is facilitating the enjoyment of living entity. Living entity wanted to enjoy, Krishna is trying to support him. That okay, you have all the support from me, but constitutionally he cannot enjoy. That is the point. Okay. Yeah, continue.
In his liberated state, he is freed from this material condition and he is under the engagement of transcendental service unto the Lord. In his conditioned life, he is dominated by the material modes of nature and he forgets the transcendental loving service of the Lord. As a result, he has to struggle very hard to maintain his existence in the material world. The living entities, not only human beings and the cats and dogs, but even the greater controllers of the material world, Brahma, Lord Shiva, and even Vishnu, are all parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord.
Yeah. The same thing, Prakriti Sthani Karshati, that they are struggling very hard. That point Prabhupada is saying. And not only human beings, as we discussed yesterday, also the cats and other species, even the great controllers, those who are like demigods and Gandharvas, Kinnaras, all these are all parts and parcels of Supreme Lord. Yeah. Continue.
They are all eternal, not temporary manifestations. The word karsati, struggling or grappling hard, is very significant. The conditioned soul is bound up as though shackled by iron chains. He is bound up by the false ego. The mind is the chief agent which is driving him in this material existence. When the mind is in mode of goodness, his activities are good. When the mind is in mode of passion, his activities are troublesome. And when the mind is in the mode of ignorance, it travels in the lower species of life.
Yeah. So Prabhupada is saying the struggling is like being bound up as through shackled by iron chains. So who is bound up by iron chains? The prisoner, basically, who has done some crime. So when the living entity has committed some crime, then he is put under these three modes. Okay, and that is not a like a prisoner who is done some wrong act. He is put. It is by the desire of the living entity only that I want to enjoy in this material world under a certain mode. So Krishna is facilitating him by creating that mode. Okay, obviously they are eternal, but Krishna is has that purpose. The purpose of the material world is to facilitate the desire of living entity to enjoy. It is not created by Krishna, it is created by the living entity, this material world. Yeah, continue.
It is clear, however, in this verse that the conditioned soul is covered by the material body with the mind and the senses, and when he is liberated, this material covering perishes, but his spiritual body manifests itself in its individual capacity. The following information is there in the Madhyan Dinayana Shruti. Savaesa Brahmanistha idam sariram martyam atisrijya brahma bhishampadaya brahmana pasyati brahmana shrunoti brahma naivedam sarvam anubhavati. It is stated here that when a living entity gives up this material embodiment and enters into the spiritual world, he revives his spiritual body. And in his spiritual body, he can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face.
Yeah, so same thing Prabhupada is continuing, that the conditioned soul is covered by the material body, mana, sasthana, indriyani, basically, mind and the six senses. So he is covered by these things. Yeah. When he is liberated, then he can overcome these shackles, as Prabhupada told in the previous slide. Na? Here, he is shackled by this chains of the six mind and the five senses, all these coverings that he can overcome in the liberated state. How one will get liberated? That was told already earlier, by cutting the attachment, tree of attachment. How can one cut the attachment of tree? Tree of attachment by associating with sadhus and surrendering. That is already told. So the following information is there. He is quoting this, mostly Baldevidya Bhushan has also quoted. So it is stated in this, what is told here, that when a living entity gives up material embodiment and enters into spiritual world, he revives his spiritual body. And in his spiritual body, he can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's why Krishna is called Adhokshaja, who cannot be seen by the material senses. Okay. So here Prabhupada has given the reference to what he told here. For this, he has given reference. Yeah. Continue.
He can hear and speak to him face to face, and he can understand the Supreme Personality as he is. From Smriti also it is understood, Basanti yatra purusa sarve vaikuntha murtaya. In the spiritual planets, everyone lives in bodies featured like the Supreme Personality of Godheads. As far as bodily construction is concerned, there is no difference between the part and parcel living entities and the expansions of Vishnumurti. In other words, at liberation, the living entity gets a spiritual body by the grace of this Supreme Personality of Godhead. The word Mamaya Vamsa, fragmental parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, are also very significant.
Yeah, so this Prabhupada will explain below. But before that, he is explaining this part, that Vaikuntha Murtayaha. Okay, Manasasthana Indriyan Prakriti Karshati. But when he gets a spiritual body, he gets a Vaikuntha Murti. Murti means form. A form which is suitable for the abode of Vaikuntha, or that Murti which is free of Kuntha, miseries. Okay, Sachidan in the body, he will say basically. So there, where is this mentioned? This there in the third canto, 15th chapter, 14th verse. Okay, just 1 minute. I'll show. And the same thing is actually quoted in Priti Sandarbha in verse number 10th Anucheda. So actually that they are connected, and then it is said a very important concept he explained there. I'll just touch upon it. 15 or 15, 14. Yeah, 15, 14, I think. Yeah, 15, 14. Yeah, see this verse. Where is this? Yeah, so this word is mentioned here, Vaikuntha Murtaya. So this is obviously Brahmaji speaking about the spiritual world, explaining the description of the kingdom of God. That is third canto, 15th chapter. So he also uses this word. What he is saying, Vasanti yatra Purushaha, where there are Purusha means obviously there are women also, but just saying for the sake of saying, Vasanti yatra Purushaha, Sarve Vaikuntha Murtayaha. So all are having the Vaikuntha Murti. So Prabhupada is translated as having a four-handed form similar to that of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. And obviously that is Sarupya. And there is other planets, Sarishti, and other kinds of liberation also, Sarishti, Samipya. Okay. And here, ye animitta nimittena dharmena aradhyan harim. So those who do with without desire for sense gratification, they just what they do, aradhana. They do worship or seva or bhajan of whom? Supreme Lord Hari, like that. Okay. Yeah. So that's what is explained. Maybe you can read the purport later. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what concept is explained in that place? Actually, in the Priti Sandarbha also this comes. Okay. 3, 15, 14. Srimad Bhagavatam. This is a reference. Okay. And also in Priti Sandarbha, this is there in the verse number, Anuched number. Okay. Anuched number 10. So what concept is explained there? That नित्य सिद्ध कृष्ण प्रेम साध्य कबू नय ओके श्रवणादि शुद्ध चित्त करे उदय okay nitya siddha krishna prem that krishna prem is nitya siddha it is eternally existing eternally established where it is existing where it is established in this vaikuntha murti that is the spiritual body of the living entity so every living entity has a spiritual body okay which is uh, existing as the in the form of Vaikuntha Murti. Okay, so don't think into in the terms of past, present, and future because it's beyond time, spiritual world. So these concepts should not be applied in that place. Okay, it will be illogical. So the spiritual body of every living entity exists. In what form? In the form of Vaikuntha Murti. But where does it exist? It exists in the body of the Supreme Lord. Okay, so when the living entity reaches there, so that body will be awarded to him. Okay, so that is Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema, Sadhya Kabunaya. That is already existing. Nitya Siddha, it is already present in this body. This Krishna Prema is present in this body. Shravanadi Suddha Chitta Karaya Udaya. And how will one attain this spiritual bodies? By doing the Navavida Bhakti, Shravana Adi in Shuddha Chitta Karaya Udaya, in the pure heart. Then one can awaken this spiritual body. Okay, that is a concept which is explained there. Yeah. Yeah, continue.
The fragmental portion of the Supreme Lord is not like some material broken part. We have already understood in the second chapter that the spirit cannot be cut into pieces. This fragment is not materially conceived. It is not like matter which can be cut into pieces and joined together again. The conception is not applicable here because the Sanskrit word Sanatana, eternal, is used. The fragmental portion is eternal. It is also stated in the beginning of the second chapter that in each and every individual body, the fragmental portion of the Supreme Lord is present. Dehino asmin yatha deha.
Yeah, so basically the word amsha is being explained here by Prabhupada. So it's not just like the material broken part. Sometimes obviously Prabhupada gives this example. Just like a nut bolt is there, if he is uh, taken out of the whole machinery, then it becomes useless. So he has given that analogy does not mean that we take that analogy and equally apply it to the living entity's constitutional position. The analogy has some scope of explaining the part of the whole. Okay, it is explaining some part of the whole concept. Okay, so we should not take it equivalent or just congruent to the whole constitution of the living entity. Not like that. So that's why it's not like the mechanical part of the nut or bolt of any machine. Okay, that analogy is given in a way to understand that okay, living entity is not in its constitutional position, it's not having the highest, usefulness as it would have had with association in of the spirit of the Supreme Lord. Okay, that is the way he is explaining. And then Sanatana word he is explaining. Okay, eternal. That fragmental portion is also eternal. Okay, it is not that sometime it was created. Okay, yeah, and he's giving reference from second chapter. Yeah, continue.
The fragmental portion, when liberated from the bodily entanglement, revives its original spiritual body in the spiritual sky in a spiritual planet and enjoys association with the Supreme Lord. It is, however, understood here that the living entity, being the fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, is qualitatively one with the Lord, just as the parts and parcel of gold are also gold.
Yeah, so this amsha, even though it is bhinna amsha, so when liberated from this body, he will attain a spiritual body and attain the spiritual world and enjoy association with Supreme Lord. That is there. And at the same time, one should understand that qualitatively they are one. So not qualitatively one means not that living entity will also become Krishna or become equal to Krishna. No, living entity always has 50 qualities at the maximum, and he cannot attain all the spiritual qualities which Krishna has. Okay, that's understand. Okay. Yeah, any question what we discussed till now? Okay. Yes. We'll continue next verse. शरीरं यद अवाप्नोति यच्चापि उत्क्रामति ईश्वरः गृहीत्वाणि संयाति वायुर्गन्धानि वाशयात्. Okay. Santosh, do you want to read?
Yes, Prabhu. The the living entity in the material world, Ishvara, carries Gritva Samyati, has different conceptions of life from one body to another. As Yachapi, the air, Vayu, carries aromas, Gandhan, from their source, Ashayat. Thus he gets Avapnoti, one kind of body, Sariram, and again gives it up, Utkramati, to take another.
Yeah. So how living entity is being struggling in this material world? The explanation is given that he takes different kinds of body by giving up the previous body. So he is called Ishwaraha because he is trying to become the controller in the material world. He is called Ishwaraha. Okay, the entity in the material world is called Ishwara here, and he carries different conceptions of life from one body to another. How? What is the analogy given? So Vayur Gandha Nivashayat. Just like the Vayu carries the Gandha of flower, whatever kind of Gandha it has come across. If it is good fragrance, good order is called fragrance. Okay. And that fragrance he may take it from the example will be given in commentary about the chandan or the sandalwood paste, or it can take from the flower like rose flower, lotus flower, like that. So that these are good, and if it comes in contact with bad, obnoxious odors, then it will take up that kind of fragrance, not fragrance, bad odor. Yeah, from whatever source it takes. Thus he gets one kind of body and again gives it up to take another. Yeah. So what is the association he got in previous life? That kind of body he will get in next life. Yeah. Continue.
Here the living entity is described as Ishvara, the controller of his own body. If he likes, he can change his body to a higher grade, and if he likes, he can move to a lower class. minute independence is there. The change his body undergoes depends upon him. At the time of death, the consciousness he has created will carry him on to the next type of body.
Yeah, so yeah, what kind of bhava that he has created in the body while he is living, what he is thinking about most of the time in the life. Okay, so that kind of bhava he will also attain in the next life. Okay, so yam yam bhava, as the 8th chapter Bhagavad Gita says, that kind of thought, whatever he has remembered at the time of death, that he will attain without fail. But what kind of thought he will attain at the time of death? That which he has thought about most of the times in his life. Okay, that's what. Yeah, continue.
If he has made his consciousness like that of a cat or dog, he is sure to change a cat's body or dog's body. And if he has fixed his consciousness on godly qualities, he will change into the form of a demigod. And if he is in Krishna consciousness, he will be transferred to Krishna Loka in the spiritual world and will associate with Krishna. It is a false claim that after the annihilation of this body, everything is finished.
Yeah. Yeah,
The
continue.
individual soul is transmigrating from one body to another, and his present body and present activities are the background of his next body. One gets a different body according to karma, and he has to quit this body in due course. It is stated here that the subtle body, which carries the conception of the next body, develops another body in the next life. This process of transmigrating from one body to another and struggling while in the body is called karshati, or struggle for existence.
Yeah. So yam yam bhava smarana, that kind of tejati ante kalevaram tam tavevaiti konteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. That kind of bhava he will attain. Yeah. Yeah, continue. Read this. Vishwanath.
In dragging around the senses, what does the jiva do? When the jiva, the master of his senses, Ishvara, accepts a body and leaves the body, he goes away, taking these senses along with the subtle body. This is like the wind taking the fragrances with its subtle elements from the
Receptacles.
receptacles of fragrance, ashayat, such as garlands or sandalwood, and going elsewhere.
Yeah, so Prabhupada did not touch much upon this fragrance part. So Vishwanath Thakur has explained this. That okay, dragging around, Karshati was explained in the previous verse. So in dragging around these senses, what does the jiva do? So what does he do? So he, considering himself master, accepts the body and leaves the body. That is what the recycling process yesterday we were discussing, right? He takes birth, then again goes through all the six changes of the body. Sixth change is death. Then again he takes up new body. So like this recycling is going on. So and then this way he goes upon and then takes these senses along with the subtle body. So some people are born with good intelligence. Some people are born with good swabhava, good qualities. Why? Because this mana, buddhi, and ahankar, they are carrying from previous birth. Whatever knowledge also they acquired in the previous birth, whatever the vritti, vasana, and samskar, all this samskar what they attained in the past life, they will carry to the next life. So that's why we see some children are very disturbing from the childhood. Some are very good from childhood, and then they do very good activities also in future. So like this, many kinds of things we see in this world. Yeah. Yeah, continue.
Continue.
Sorry, Baldev with the ocean commentary is not there now. Okay. Okay, I did not put it. Okay, we'll continue next verse. Shrotram chakshu sparsham cha rasnam ghranam eva cha adhisthaya manaschayam vishayan upasevate. The living entity, I am. Okay, somebody can read this. Who has not read? Amit Prabhu, yeah, you read also yesterday. Somebody else can read. Chaitanya Prabhu, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, please read.
The living entity I am, thus taking another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear
Strotram, eye, chakshu, tongue, rasanam, nose, grahanam, and sense of touch, sparshanam, which are grouped about the mind, manah tadishtaya. Thus he enjoys upasevate, a particular set of sense object, vishayan.
Yeah. So now he is explaining details of the previous shloka. What are these five senses? What he is actually carrying? Okay. So he is taking another gross body, obtains a certain type of Shrotram, Chakshu, Rasnam, Granam, and Sparshanam. Okay, for the five sense objects, Rasa, Rupa, Gandha, Sabda, Sparsha. Okay, for each of the five sense objects, five this sense in Indriyas are given for enjoying them, and all of them are controlled by this mind. Okay, the mind is a controller of all of these five, and then in this way he is enjoying. Okay, the particular set of sense objects. Yeah, please read.
In other words, if the living entity adulterates his consciousness with the qualities of cats and dogs, in his next life he gets a cat or dog body and enjoys. Consciousness is originally pure like water, but if you mix water with a certain color, it changes. Similarly, consciousness is pure, for the spirit soul is pure, but the consciousness is changed according to the association of the material qualities. Real consciousness is Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, so previously also Prabhupada told the same thing. If one associates with the godly qualities, thinks about godly qualities, that kind of body he will take next. Okay, so consciousness decides what next body one is going to get. Okay, and example is given here, and sometimes the example Prabhupada gives the raindrops mixing with the dust when they fall on the ground. So they become contaminated. So like that here, another example is given that if there is some color which is mixed with water, like sometimes we make a juice. So for that making the juice, we put some what is a concentrated you say whatever is there mix, and then mix it with water. So water also takes that color. Sometimes it is pink, sometimes it is yellow, all that. The example is given here that like that consciousness is pure because it is spirit soul, but when it associates with the material modes or qualities, then it's contaminated. Yeah, really?
When therefore one is situated in Krishna consciousness, he is in his pure life. But if his consciousness is adulterated by the some type of material mentality, in the next life he gets a corresponding body. He does not necessarily get a human body again. He can get the body of a cat, dog, hog, demigod, or one of many other forms, for there are 84 lakh species.
Yeah, so there are some people who try to act like dogs, cats, monkeys in the human body itself. Okay, some people have that mentality, and some people actually with the gross body they try to act like that. Okay, so Prabhupada is saying like that they will get such bodies. Okay, yeah, we can have this similar explanation inside. Okay, we'll go to next verse. उत्क्रामन्तं स्थितं वापि भुञ्जानं वा गुणान्वितं विमूढा न अनुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषः. Yeah. Sulalita Gopi Mataji, you want to read?
Yeah, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
The foolish Vimuda cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, Utkramantam, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys, Bhuja, Bhujanam, while situated in it, Sthitam va api, under the spell of the moods of nature, Gunanvitam, but one whose eyes are trained in knowledge, Jnana Chakshusha, can see, Pashyanti, all this.
Yeah, so two types of people are there. Okay, one is Vimudha, and there is Jnana Chakshushaha, the second kind of people. So Vimudha, what has happened to him? Na Anupashyanti, he cannot see. And Pashyanti, Who? Jnana Chakshusha. Those who are having Jnana Chakshu, they can see. Vimudha, they cannot see. What they can see, what they cannot see? Whatever was explained till now. That one, as per his association, will get a next body according to that. This will not be seen by those who are foolish. And those who are actually having the eyes of Jnana, knowledge, they will be able to see this transmigration of the living entity and they will choose wisely. Okay. That, okay, what kind of body I want next, accordingly I should associate in this life. Okay, that's what is explained. Okay, so two types of people are explained here. Okay, yeah, continue. Purport.
Yes. Purport. The word Jnana Chakshusha is very significant. Without knowledge, one cannot understand how a living entity leaves his present body, nor what form of body he is going to take in the next life, nor even why he is living in a particular type of body. This requires a great amount of knowledge, understand from Bhagavad Gita and similar literatures, heard from a bona fide spiritual master. One who is trained to perceive all these things is fortunate. Every living entity is quitting his body under certain circumstances. He is living under certain circumstances and he is enjoying under certain circumstances under the spell of material nature. As a
Yeah,
result,
yeah, no, just one. So here, Prabhupada is explaining this word, Utkramantam, leaving the body, and Sthitam, living, basically leaving and living. Okay. So both Prabhupada is explaining here in this purport that the entity, how he is leaving, going to leave the body, and then how one is living in the body. Okay, these both things are explained. Yeah, so those who are having this great amount of knowledge, jnana chakshusha, how one gets this jnana chakshusha? By understanding the books, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, like that. But how will one understand this? When he hears or learns it from a bona fide spiritual master. So as in beginning of our sessions, we were discussing the importance of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, and that also bona fide Guru who is speaking from Shastra. Then one can actually get this knowledge, and then result of that knowledge will be, he will be able to see that, oh, I am going to transmigrate in the next body. So what kind of association should I take now? So that eyes of knowledge, Om Agyan Timirandhas Gyan Anjana Shalakaya. So the Guru enlightens the eyes to see this Jnana Chakshu. Yeah. So everybody, yeah, quitting the body under some certain circumstances and living also, Utkramantam, Sthitam, both, and trying to enjoy. Okay. Bhunjanam. So here, this word is there, Bhunjanam. So what is the word? Yeah, enjoying. Yeah, he's trying to do this enjoyment also. Gunanvitam, under the spell of the three modes. So same thing Prabhupada is saying. Yeah, read this.
as a result, he is suffering different kinds of happiness and distress under the illusion of sense enjoyment. Persons who are everlastingly fooled by lust and desire lose all power to understand their change of body and their stay in a particular body. They cannot comprehend it. Those who have developed spiritual knowledge, however, can see that the spirit is different from the body and is changing its body and enjoying in different ways. A person in such knowledge can understand how the conditioned living entity is suffering in this material existence.
Yeah, so Prabhupada is explaining these two types of people. So first type of people who are Vimudha, that is being explained here. Okay, they are fools. Why? Because they are not able to see the change of the body. They are not able to perceive it. Okay. Why? Because they have no knowledge about the soul and the body. All these things, they are not having any knowledge. So they are in ignorance. So even if somebody goes and tells them, they say, we don't have any time. Okay, so why they are saying like that? Because they have not got that Sukriti. Yeah, and second type of people who is having that knowledge, okay, who has developed the spiritual knowledge, that is Jnana Chakshushaha, the second type of people. Okay, Jnana Chakshu, they have developed. Yeah, please read.
Therefore, those who are highly developed in Krishna consciousness try their best to give this knowledge to the people in general, for their conditional life is very much troublesome. They should come out of it and be Krishna conscious and liberate themselves to transfer to the spiritual world.
Yeah, so those who are developing Krishna consciousness, Jnana Chakshu basically. So for them, it is best to give this knowledge to the people in general who are vimudha. They are not able to perceive the difference between soul and the body. For their conditional life is very much troublesome. Karashati. Okay, they should come out of it and be Krishna conscious and transfer to spiritual world. Yeah. Yeah, Sintan. Okay. So last verse of this section.
Prabhuji, just I have one
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
So, Prabhuji, this enjoying mentality is coming from mind, mana. Yes, Prabhuji.
Coming from mind, you are saying or asking?
No, I'm asking like it is coming from mind. So it is coming also from buddhi and false ego also, like mana, buddhi, ahankar. So is it coming from buddhi and ahankar also, or only it is coming from mind?
No, it is coming from all actually. Yeah. So what kind of mana, buddhi, and ahankar he had in past life, that only is transferred in this life. But mind is directly in touch of the senses. That's why it is told sometimes. Like if you remember the chariot analogy, the five horses are there, na? So the reins or the person who is holding the reins is the buddhi. Okay, but in his hand, the mind, like the reins is there, and that is directly in contact with the senses or horses. So sometimes it is told that mind is the master of the senses, mind is only directing one to enjoyment, but buddhi is also sitting as a charioteer, as a driver, who is guiding the mind, na? Like that. So they are all there, man, buddhi, ahankar. Ahankar also is very important until unless one has that bhav that yes, I am a very rich person, like Nal Kuber and Manigriv, and we are very rich. That bhav is there, ahankar is there. Then only they will get into that enjoying tendency, enjoying mentality. Na? So all three are there. So sometimes mind is said as a culprit because it is directly in touch. Just like a big terrorist group, they will send one person to do a bomb blast. So that one person is directly doing it, but there are so many other people behind it, na, planning and everything. So the person who did the bomb blast, that only will be actually mainly caught and given punishment, but others they are in background. Similarly, mind is directly doing it to the senses, in touch with the senses, but there is behind, there is planning done by intelligence. All these things are going on like that. Okay. Yes, Pratik. Bro.
Prabhuji, am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Prabhuji, this senses, are those inert senses, or they also store the past karma or desires, or I mean, is just the mind who desires and we involve in the sense enjoyment, or the senses are also some kind of having some kind of past memory?
Yeah, they also have, just like we use certain tool. Uh, Suppose we use any thing to do a particular activity, so that tool also will actually get what how to say, that also changes its shape actually. Okay, just like we have a pencil, okay, or a sketch pen, or if you crayons we have now. So that crayon you use to draw. So generally crayon is drawing and the effect is seen on the paper, but the effect is actually happening on crayon also. That also is changing its shape. So the senses are like that, the subtle senses, not the gross senses, I'm saying eyes and all. So when they are actually used by the mind in a particular way, so they also are changing shape and become aligned with the type of enjoyment that the mind wants the senses to do. So when we are using the crayon in a particular way, it is being changed in that same way. Okay, like that. So similarly, the senses also carry that memory of the past. It's something like RAM, which is not very long memory, but short memory, but memory is there. Okay. Yeah. So that's how the subtle senses also carry the memory, and it is very much in sync with what mind wanted it to do. So next time when it goes, there is no new software provided. The same tools are there, and same what you say, whatever things are there, packets are there with the mind, which is a software, and then software developer, the buddhi is sitting there. So all these things are there, which are being carrying the memory. Mainly it is there in the mind, which carries the memory, but the senses also has the memory in the subtle senses, which is carried. Okay, like that.
Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
I'm not remembering any reference as of now for this, where it is. If I get, I will send. Okay, I'm not remembering any reference now. Okay, we will continue then this last verse of this section. Oh. यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्ति आत्मनि अवस्थितं यतन्तोऽपि अकृतात्मनो नयनं पश्यन्ति अचेतसः. Ashwini Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dhanapaya Prabhuji, is my voice clearly audible?
Yeah, clear.
The endeavoring yatantaha transcendentalists yoginaha who are situated in self-realization can see pashyanti all this clearly situated inam atmani avastitah. But those whose minds are not developed, achetsaha, and who are not situated in self-realization, akritmanaha, cannot see na pashyanti what is taking place, though they may try. Yatatah api.
So these two types of people who are explained previously, that they are able to see vimudha na anupashyanti. The vimudha they cannot see. And pashyanti jnana chakshushaha. Those who are actually in knowledge of the soul, body, and self knowledge about the Sambandhi Gyan, basically, they have about God. So then they are able to see Pashyanti Jnana Chakshushaha. So now further explanation of these two things. Yatanto yoginas chainam. So these yogis are the spiritualists basically. How Prabhupada? Yeah, transcendentalists. Basically all. Jnana yoga, Ashtanga yoga, Bhakti yoga, Karma yoga. Karma yoga not much transcendental, but towards transcendence. But transcendentalist here includes all of them. All these transcendentalists who are having this Sambandhi Gyan, at least, that oh, we have to attain God realization, either Brahman or Paramatma or Bhagavan realization, either of these three, they are explained. Yatanto, they are doing their endeavor. What? Pashyanti Atmani Avasthitam. To, yeah, Atmani Avasthitam. So, who are situated in the self. Okay, they see. Situated in the self means they know the body different from the soul. That they have understood, they have known. Yatanto api akritatmano. So here akritatmanaha means those who are not situated in self-realization. We say mimudha, those who were foolish people. Okay. So yatanto api, even though they may try to endeavor, na enam pashyanti achetasa. They cannot see, na pashyanti. Because their minds are not developed. Okay, even though we may go and tell that no, body is different from the soul. Okay, you should not just try to enjoy this body. Okay, you should understand what body you are going to go next and have that. They will not be able to understand because they have not developed that kind of mindset. Okay, they have not got actually with the association of these transcendentalists. That's why they are not able to develop that. Please read this part.
There are many transcendentalists on the path of spiritual self-realization, but One who is not situated in self-realization cannot see how things are changing in the body of the living entity. The word yoginaha is significant in this connection. In the present day, there are many so-called yogis and there are many so-called associations of yogis, but they are actually blind in the matter of self-realization. They are simply addicted to some sort of gymnastic exercise and are satisfied if the body is well built and healthy.
Yeah, so nowadays yoga has just become this gymnastic activity or keeping the body healthy. That is obviously part of the yoga, but generally yoga means connecting or joining, okay, with God or God consciousness. That is the main meaning of yoga. But to do that, obviously one should have good health. So that health part only is become major till now. Okay, Hatha yoga societies have developed. Prabhupada, maybe he will tell here. Yeah.
They have no other information. They are called yatantu api akritatmanaha. Even though they are endeavoring in a so-called yoga system, they are not self-realized. Such people cannot understand the process of the transmigration of the soul. Only those who are actually in the yoga system and have realized the self, the world, and the Supreme Lord, in other words, the Bhakti Yogis, those engaged in pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness, can understand how things are taking place.
Yeah, so this Prabhupada specifically explained this purport for shloka for Bhakti Yogi. Yeah, so these are all transcendentalists. They can actually understand. They are not vimudha. They are jnana chakshushaha. Yeah. Read this, Vishwanath Thakur's.
Yes. Those persons of discrimination are the endeavoring yogis. They see the soul in the body. Those of impure consciousness, akritat manaha, even endeavoring, do not see the soul there.
Yeah. So next section is Krishna's position as our master, as our maintainer. So even though the living entity, two types of living entities are there, Vimudha and there is Jnana Chakshushaha. But Krishna is supporting all of them. He will not say, oh, Vimudha, they are trying to just enjoy yourself. I will not maintain you. I will not give you the energy of the sun. I will not give you the sun of the light of the sun. I will not be the Dhyasti fire in your body. No, he is not saying like that. He is saying, no, all of you, those who are there, all are my Amsha. And all of you, I will support in whatever you want to do. You want to forget me, I will support in that. You want to come near me, I will support in that. So that is next section. Okay. Yad aditya gatam tejo jagat bhasyatik akhilam yad chandramsi yad chagnao tat tejo vidhi mamakam. Yeah. Sarveshri Radhika Mataji, you are okay? Can you read?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hmm.
The splendor, teja of the sun, Aditya Gatam, which illuminates Bhasyate, the darkness of the whole world, Akhilam Jagat, comes from me, Mamakam, and the splendor, Yat Teja, of the moon, Chandramsi, and the splendor, Yatcha Agnav, of fire, are also from me. Understand that Tat Vidhi.
Yeah, thank you. So here now Krishna is saying that what all things are his vibhutis through which he is supporting this material world. So yad aditya gatam tejo, so the sunshine, that is first. Jagat bhashyate akhilam, through which the whole Jagat bhashyate is illumined fully. Yat chandramsi, then there is Chandra, cha agno, the fire. Tat tejo vidhi mamakam. In all this, the teja or what proper translate splendor. Yes, the splendor which is there in this is vidhi no mamakam. It's coming from me. Yeah. Read the purport, Mataji.
The unintelligent cannot understand how things are taking place, but one can begin to be established in knowledge by understanding what the Lord explains here. Everyone sees the sun, moon, fire, and electricity. One should simply try to understand that the splendor of the sun, the splendor of the moon, and the splendor of the electricity or fire are coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In such a conception of life, the beginning of Krishna consciousness lies a great deal of advancement for the conditioned soul in the material world.
Yeah. So Prabhupada is just explaining these three terms, sun, moon, and electricity, which was told in the shloka. And one should simply try to understand that splendor, whichever vibhuti or tejaha, which is told, is coming from Supreme Personal Godhead. Okay, Mama, Krishna, that is told in the shloka. In such a conception, basically, those who are Jnana Chakshunaha, they have understood this knowledge. Okay. So this was also actually spoken earlier. Natad bhashyate suryona sasankona pavaka. Correct. That shloka, starting from there till the last shloka, it was told that. Yeah. So till there it was told that what all things are known by the Jnana Chakshusha and what is not known by the Vimudha. So here those who are Jnana Chakshusha, they have this conception of life, beginning of Krishna consciousness. From the beginning lies a great deal of advancement for the conditioned soul in the material world. Okay, yeah, continue.
The living entities are essentially the parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, and he is giving here with the hint how they can come back to Godhead, back to home. From this verse, we can understand that the sun is illuminating the whole universe. There are different universes and there are different suns, moons, and planets also, but in each universe there is only one sun. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 10.21, the moon is one of the stars. Nakshatra Anam Aham Sasi. Sunlight is due to the spiritual effulgence in the spiritual sky of the Supreme Lord. With the rise of the sun, the activities of human beings are set up. They set fire to prepare their foodstuff, they set fire to start the factories, etc. So many things are done with the help of fire. Therefore, sunrise, fire, and moonlight are so pleasing to the living entities. Without their help, no living entity can live.
Yeah, so here Prabhupada is explaining what is the purpose of Krishna coming in the form of the sun's energy or the sun. Why he is doing it? Because the living entity has a desire to enjoy, to do all this kind of thing, prepare their own food stuff. They have to start the fire to start factories, all these things they want to do. So Krishna is coming and supporting them in their endeavors. Okay, not only the fire outside, but fire inside the body as a digestion fire. That also Krishna will tell next. So many things are done with the help of fire, and Krishna is supporting them in their activities. Okay, like that. Yeah, so the human activities are generally to be considered in the day when the sun is rising or sun before the sun sets. And nowadays, obviously, we have electricity, but earlier there was no electricity. So generally, the life activities would be very minimal after the sunset. And the animals and those creatures will actually start their activities in the night. But nowadays, human beings also, they are acquiring the qualities of animals and their activities are happening in the night. And they are trying to do all the things like eating. Who eats in night? So generally, the animals only eat in night. But nowadays, there is, when we were in college, night canteen and all this kind of stuffs, they are artificially started. So all these things are animalistic propensities. And the human body is very much designed in the same way. So there is so many scientific researches done about this circadian rhythm. Okay, maybe you can search later in Google, you can get understand. Circadian rhythm is there. So scientists are coming to understand now how the body is having a rhythm as the sun is setting and sun is rising. According to that, the enzymes are secreted. All things are set in the body. But when one tries to go against the nature's law, then he suffers. Yeah, continue.
So, if one can understand that the light and splendor of the sun, moon, and fire are emanating from the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, then one's Krishna consciousness will begin. By the moonshine, all the vegetables are nourished. The moonshine is so pleasing that people can easily understand that they are living by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. Without his mercy, there cannot be sun. Without his mercy, there cannot be moon. And without his mercy, there cannot be fire. And without the help of sun, moon, and fire, no one can live. These are some thoughts to provoke Krishna consciousness in the conditioned soul.
Yeah, so now sunshine he explained. Then Prabhupada explained the moonshine. Okay, how it is very soothing and vegetables also get nourished. All the 6 types of tastes, astringent, pungent, sweet, salty, all these tastes which are there come from the moon. So this is explained here. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just 1 minute. Basically, Baldev Bhushan and Vishnu Thakur both are saying that this is being explained in this 4 verses, he says, and obviously he says 3 verses. But this whole concept of that how the jiva is being supported by Supreme Lord, who is his Amsha. Okay, in the material world, he is trying to enjoy. So he is being supported by this vibhutis or teja. Okay, by the Supreme Lord. Yeah, so actions for attaining jiva's enjoyment according to his karma are accomplished by the light of the sun. Prabhupada told similar point, right? Which has risen and the fire which is blazing. So a factory's example Prabhupada gave. So this point Prabhupada explained. These actions are causes of happiness and destroy darkness, lethargy of the jiva. Yeah. Yeah. So the same thing Prabhupada also told. The moon nourishes. Baldev Bhushan is saying same thing. The herbs, dissipation of heat and pain, relaxation in the moonlight. Okay. So these all things happen. So which science may not agree till now. They have not discovered how the moon is giving the taste. That's research is still to happen. But yeah, sometime in future they will do. But Vedas already are saying that dissipation of heat and pain in the body. That happens also by the sunlight, is the moon light. And relaxation also happens in the moonlight. Okay, the light which produces these effects in the sun, moon, and fire is my vibhuti. Okay, so the fire can remove the uh, cold, the pain of the cold. Okay, and moon can relieve the heat like that. Yeah, now Krishna is saying about the another thing. Gam avishya chu bhutani dharyami aham ojasa ushnami cha ausadhi sarvaha somo bhutva rasatmakaha. Yeah, somebody else can read. Yes, Himanshu, do you want to read?
Yes, sir. I Aham enter into the Avishya, each planet, Gam, and by my energy, Ojasa, they stay in orbit, Dharayami. I become the moon, Soma Bhutva, and thereby supply the juice of life, Rasa Atmakaha Pushnami, to all vegetables, Sarva Aushadhi.
Yeah. So all aushadhi, basically vegetables as well as herbs, as Baldev Bhushan told, all they are actually provided by Krishna only in different ways, like here. Yeah, please read.
It is understood that all the planets are floating in air only by the energy of the Lord. The Lord enters into every atom, every planet, and every living being. That is discussed in Brahma Samhita. It is said there that one plenary portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Paramatma, enters into the planets, the universe, the living entity, and even into the atom. So, due to his entrance, everything is proportionately manifested. When the spirit soul is there, a living man can float on the water. But when the living spark is out of the body and the dead body is dead, the body sinks.
Yeah, a very simple example Prabhupada has given. That how Krishna actually is entering every atom, Gam Avishya cha Bhutani Dharyami Aham Ojasa, and he is only holding it. He has entered it and then he is holding. So this Gurutva bal, which the scientists explain, that how there is so much gravitational force that every planet is being sustained. So that Gurutva bal generally, actually it is considered here according to understanding of spiritual science is the Lord entering. And otherwise the scientists have not known why the Gurutvakarsan bal is there between the two atoms or two planets. Why is it at all there? What is making them attract each other? They don't know. So they may know the mechanism. Okay, the formula Gm1 m2 by r square, that this proportional to mass is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. All these things they may know scientifically, but why it is happening? Why there is only square in the denominator r square? Why it is not r cube? They don't know. what is there, they may do some experiment and they will know. Why it is this much only, they don't know. So this is explained here. Yeah, continue.
Of course, when it is decomposed, it flows just like straw and other things, but as soon as the man is dead, he at once sinks in the water. Similarly, all these planets are floating in space, and this is due to the entrance of the supreme energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His energy is sustaining each planet, just like a handful of dust. If someone holds a handful of dust, there is no possibility of dust falling. But if one throws it in the air, it will fall down. Similarly, these planets which are floating in the air are actually held in the fist of the universal form of the Supreme Lord.
Yeah, so these planets which are floating in the air are actually held by the fist of the universal form. In a specific, Prabhupada told, in the hand, universal form is holding like that. Okay. So basically, yeah, Gam Avishya Bhutani, Dhariyami, I am holding it. Aham Ojasa, by my energy. Yeah.
By his strength and energy, all moving and non moving things stay in their place. It is said in the Vedic hymns that because of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the sun is shining and the planets are steadily moving. Were it not for him, all the planets would scatter like dust in the air and perish. Similarly, it is due to the Supreme Personality of Godhead that the moon nourishes all vegetables. Due to the moon's influence, the vegetable becomes delicious.
Yeah, scientists may say that, oh, this universe is so nicely working. Actually, there are no occasion where these planets, they are revolving around sun, have ever collided. So many years they have been, and even though their trajectories are intersecting, but there is no collision ever it has happened. How is it possible? Okay, so obviously somebody is controlling it, so that is explained here. Yeah.
Without the moonshine, the vegetables can neither grow nor taste succulent. Succulent. Uh, Human society is working, living comfortably, and enjoying food due to the supply from the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, mankind could could not survive. The word prasatmaka is very significant. Everything becomes palatable by the agency of the Supreme Lord through the influence of the moon.
Yeah. So Rasatmaka, so moon gives the taste. Yeah. अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचामि अन्नं चतुर्विधम्. Yeah. Dayamai Devaki Mata, you want to read? Somebody else. Yeah, Amit, you want to?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah, audible.
Yeah. I am Aham, the fire of digestion, Vaishranaraha Bhutva, in the bodies, Deham Ashritaha, of all living entities, Praninam, Praninam, and I join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming, Prana Pana Samya Yukta, to digest Pachami, the four kinds of foodstuff, Chaturvidham Annam.
Yeah, so good verse to learn at the time of lunch. Yeah. So here he is saying that Vaishva Naro Bhutva. So I become the Vaishva Nara, the digestion fire. Okay. Praninam Deham Ashritaha, situated in the body of the pranis, all those who have prana, basically. Okay, prana is the main vayu. There are 10 vayus in the body. The prime or the most important of them is prana. Okay, this is the explained in Bhagavatam. Yeah, so prana and apana. Okay, so two words are there. Prabhupada has explained, I think here. Yeah, here. Prana is the outgoing air. So that's why when somebody dies, we say uske pran chale gaye. So the prana is the outgoing air which went out. Apana is the downgoing air. So prana and apana. So upwards and downwards both. Okay, are there in the body. So to function the various uh, mechanisms in the body, like the eyelids are automatically closing and opening. That is happening by the body. Or we have the stomach digestion happening, and the food is processed from top to bottom. Okay, the some force is pushing it down. while evacuating. So these all are done by the voluntary and involuntary. Many of the things are done by the air in the body. And specifically, Krishna is saying about I am pachami annam chaturvidham. The 4 kind of foodstuffs is digested by me. Okay. Somebody now eats something which is not to be digested, like sand or something. Krishna will not digest it. He is saying, I will digest these 4 kind of foodstuffs. Yeah.
According to Ayurvedic Shastra, we understand that there is a fire in the stomach which digests all food sent there. When the fire is not blazing, there is no longer hunger. And when the fire is in order, we become hungry. Sometimes, when the fire is not going nicely, treatment is required. In any case, this fire is representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vedic mantras, Bruhad
Aranyaka Upanishad.
Aranyaka Upanishad 591 also confirms that Supreme Lord or Brahman is situated in the form of fire within the stomach and is digesting all kinds of foodstuff. I am Agnir
Yeah, that's
Vaishwan.
fine. Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really.
Therefore, since he is helping the digestion of all kinds of foodstuff, the living entity is not independent in the eating process. Unless the Supreme Lord helps him in digesting, there is no possibility of eating. He thus produces and digests foodstuff, and by his grace, we are enjoying life. In the Vedanta Sutra 1.2.27, this is also confirmed. Shabda Dibyo Antah
Antah Pratishtha
Pratishthanach. The Lord is situated within sound and within the body, within the air, and even within the stomach as the digestive force. There are 4 kinds of foodstuff. Some are drunk, some are chewed, some are licked up, and some are sucked. And he is the digestive force of all of them.
Yeah. So Prabhupada is explaining the first one, Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva. I become the digestive fire. So living entity wants to enjoy this process of eating. So Krishna says, okay, I will support you. I will assist you. I will become the digestive fire so that you can generate hunger, then digest it also, and evacuate also. So I will support in all. So that's why we do the prasadam prayers before eating, so that we thank obviously Krishna for giving this prasad, mercy. At the same time, we thank for creating hunger, because without hunger, there is no appetite to eat actually. And that is created by the fire. Yeah. Yeah. So this last verse is having big purport. So we will do next time this verse. Okay. And then we will see the next 2 sections, 16 to 18, 19 and 20. Okay. Any questions on what we discussed till now?
Prabhuji, I have a question from previous chapter. Prabhuji, when we are trying to be devotee, most of the time we are trying to do some devotional work. So what happens, someday we feel in the morning very energetic and we get ready, get up 3 o'clock and go for Mangalarti and do all necessary things. And some other day we feel lazy and we sleep till 4:30 or 5 o'clock. And similarly, when we are cooking also, someday we are very, I'm talking about myself, I'm very enthusiastic and I keep prepare lots of items for bhoga. And someday just offer fruits. Then how can we understand if I'm cooking many varieties for bhoga and sometimes I'm not cooking, then in which mode I am?
No, you already told in the beginning, you're trying to be devotee. So you are trying to go beyond the moods. Yeah.
Trying, but if someone says how to keep myself in Satogun, then how can I understand I'm in which mood?
Yeah, that is not needed, Mataji. Actually, this is part of bhakti. Actually, it is good that some days you feel enthusiastic. Many of us may not feel some days also enthusiastic. So actually, you are very good position, I think. Some days you are feeling at least enthusiastic. So that is part of bhakti. Okay, so I will
But how can
show.
I understand my mode? Still, we are under mode, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm above mode.
Yeah, correct, correct. Yeah, so that's what we are having goal also about going beyond the moon. But yeah, we can understand as 14th chapter it was explained that one plans and does things actually properly and mode of goodness, the characteristics are given Sukham and Jnanam. He is in knowledge and then he knows that okay, Krishna is Sambandh Jnani, at least we have that kind of knowledge we have and Sukham, and then we are happy serving Krishna. So these all things are mode of goodness, and mode of passion is rajas. That means yeah, something doing instantaneously without much planning, and that which is instant sense gratification. Okay, and like uh, and yeah, obviously. So this what you are specifically telling Namataji. Actually, it's not to be decided which mode it is. It is a part of bhakti. I will show you one reference. This is there in Madhuri Kadamini, which is a very book, it's a foundational book written by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explaining the 9 stages of bhakti. So this, na, which is explained as Utsahamai Bhakti actually. Okay, that sometimes the devotee feels very enthusiastic and sometimes he does not feel enthusiastic. So that is explained. And it is a stage of bhakti which is going to be there. So this is the third chapter, I think, yeah. So I will show you this. Yeah, second chapter. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Okay, is it visible, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, see, this is chapter, second chapter. Shraddha to Anishthit Bhajan Kriya. First stage is Shraddha, na? Correct.
Yes.
Second is
Yes.
Anishthit Bhajan Kriya. Correct.
Yes.
Or Bhajan Kriya we call. Okay, but we have not attained Nishtha. At stage of Nishtha, it will be Nishthit Bhajan Kriya. So basically, it is first and second stage. In that stage, what all happens is explained here. Okay, so you should not try to determine which mode you are, but basically, we can try to evaluate where we are and then we can go ahead from there at least. The purpose of the book is that we can evaluate where I am, not to see others, but ourselves at least. So now here, he will explain that there are two types of sadhana bhakti, Vaidhi and Raganuga. And after that, he will say that there is stages of advancement in bhakti. Okay, first is Shraddha, we know. Okay, and then after that is Bhajan Kriya. Next, it takes up to different types of service. Bhajan Kriya. This is called Bhajan Kriya. Okay, see here what is told. In this Bhajan Kriya, what all things happen? It has two varieties, unsteady and steady. Okay, unsteady performance of devotional service is of 6 types. Okay. Yeah, please read this part.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
False confidence, utsaha mai, sporadic endeavor, ghana tarala, indecision, yudha vikalpa, struggle with maya, visaya sangara, inability to uphold vows, nayamaksama, and enjoying enjoying the waves, taranga rangini. Each one characteristics and unsteadiness in devotional service.
Roji, you're on mute.
Okay, sorry. So Utsamai here explains that how what you are explaining mostly is like Utsamai. In the beginning, he thinks I am already become a scholar, this one student who just entered school. and I'm worthy of everyone's praise. Okay, like that. And then what you were saying, that how some days you feel good, some days you don't feel like doing service. So this is Ghanatarala. So some days he has real taste, and other days there is lack of taste. So that day he becomes totally negligent when there is no taste. Okay, and someday he has good taste. In the same way, a new devotee sometimes practices the different activity of devotional service attentively. Some days he will be very attentive, very nice chanting, very nicely get up in the morning, and some days neglects them. So being sometimes assiduous and at other times negligent, his sporadic endeavor is called Ghana Tarala. Okay, condensed and dilute. So Mataji, I think this was what you were connecting to, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so this is nothing to be worried. This is part of bhakti, and gradually we can advance and then go to the higher stages. So we don't have to connect it to modes because we are trying to overcome it. Okay, but we can try to practice our bhakti more sincerely and associate with those devotees who are steady, regular. Okay, na?
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Okay, anybody
Thank
else
you.
have any question? Dayamai Devki Mataji.
My question is on
It's not very clearly audible. Voice is breaking. Keep your video off, yeah.
Now, am I audible, Prabhuji?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Prabhuji, my question is from those lectures that you shared to show us last week.
Yeah.
So I asked two questions. Now I just remember one, which is very like affecting the life. I just wanted to know, in the lecture, Prabhuji was saying that we should not judge a devotee who has gone through some accidental fall down. And as you many times have mentioned that there is no accidental fall down. It is always some sequence of events which have happened, and it is all those decisions which are devotee. So when we see someone again and again going through the same fall downs, and at the same time they are just doing other activities of devotional service very nicely, like book distribution or sadhana is very commendable. But at the same time, following authorities and disobeying them, and those part which is negative part is also affecting our own life, as a third person, our own life. So how to maintain that thought that we should not judge that person because he is still standing in the shower and like he is a devotee or something. Like, how to maintain that thing? Yes, it should not be a Vaishnava aparad, or we should not judge that person, as Prabhupada is saying.
Yeah. Okay, this will need some explanation. I will try to explain it next time. Okay. But in short, I will answer. I don't know, I'm hearing my own voice. Somebody is unmute or what? Hare Krishna. Now it is better. Yeah. So, in short, I will answer that. Yeah. So, as here we discussed, this Ghanatarala and all, the same thing. Next, if we go, this same thing comes here. See, viewed Vikalpa. So, he is not having clarity about his plan. He should become a householder or should he become a renunciate? All these thoughts are going on. Or should I delay renouncing? This viewed Vikalpa. Vikalpa is option. Viewed means he is not very confident about. Next is this Visesangara. Visesangara. There, what is explained is devotee knowing he cannot attain steadiness in serving Krishna while being attached to material enjoyment. Sometimes he will fall down he knows that actually if I do this, then I will be falling down, or sometimes he will do some not fall down but overeating, or sometimes not following authority. These all things. So he resolves to renounce his addictions. But while attempting to renounce, he may end up indulging in it. So this is called Visaya Sangara. He is fighting with the lust, greed, and envy, illusion, pride, like this. And Niyamakshama, sometimes he makes a resolve that yes, I want to follow this. From today, I will chant these many rounds. and I will do obeisances so many times. I will never engage in sense gratification. All these things he will tell. But because he is not advanced, he is not able to keep up his vow, and then he sometimes falls. Okay. So Visasankara is the inability to give up material activities, while Nilakshama is the inability to develop attraction for bhakti. Okay. And then Tarang Rangini also, it is there that this is some about material benefits coming from bhakti. Is it okay, Mataji? This Niyamakshama and Visasankara mainly is there.
Okay, Prabhuji. I would seek a guidance like how can I myself keep this in mind, like this is because of his whatever or her this being in this stage, and I should not like how can I help myself not judging them.
Yeah,
I'm
that
sorry
same
for
thing. Yeah, this same thing we have to understand that he is in the process of getting purified. So at least he is chanting the holy names and he is associating with devotees. He is accepting some devotional items, right? He is better than the materialistic person. So like that we can understand that how he is trying to improve. So that we can keep in mind, and then we can say that yeah, everybody is trying to do their whatever best, sincere best is. That's what we can keep.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, sometimes it also helps going and talking to that devotee that these are the things which I'm seeing, and if it is really disturbing us, then we can tell to him or ask his authority that these are the things which I'm seeing. So how I should understand somebody who is guiding him, we can ask them. That is our thing. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
Prabhuji. Thank
Hare Krishna. Okay. Okay, we will end here. So sorry, we came a little late. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna.